preparing to live stream the meeting on YouTube. At this stage, I have done a little summary. I would like to call on the first Vice President, Dr. Makinde, to please take us through this new budget, how the 800 naira for food came to be, and every other thing.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to say really that what we have done is tending towards our members' opinion. From their opinion, it seems they are demanding for frugality. And I also believe that we should not now jettison the spirit of frugality and the sacrifice, which we have been making for the association. And I want to remark that that has been the hallmark of the outgone FESTUS administration. I want us to continue in that light. That is frugality and the sacrifice. Very important. We depend on the goodwill of our members, and we should not lose that goodwill. So there is a general clamor that the cost is too exorbitant. That was why we undertook the alternative attempt, which we have presented. I want to say very sincerely, it's not an excuse, not an opportunity to intrude into other people's constitutional duty. Not really. What I know is that in an ESCO like this, there will be divergent view. And the divergent view at any point in time should be converted into convergence, such that we will be reasoning together and we will be at the same level at the same time. So what we have done is we have made an holistic review of all the budget and asking ourselves, where can we make savings? What can we reduce? That was why we arrived at what we have now. The only one which I express reservation about is that of the Crown FM. We are at liberty to include and we are at liberty to remove. So glass block award prism for the governor, that one is a 30,000. Glass block award prism for the ONI, another 30,000. Delivery of letters and invitation to Oshobo Ife. We were made to believe that it has been done and that the money has been expended. So that one is a 65,000. That's possibly why we could not make any review. Press activities for 2 days, 100,000. Crown FM live coverage and 1 week pre-event announcement, 200,000. That's what I said. I have reservation about myself. I want it to be considered. If we want it, good. If we want to drop it, we are at liberty to do so. We are very happy. We have had an event previously, and it was well reported in the press. And those people that help us in making that event popular, they are still with us. So we might decide not to make, extraneous cost or incur extraneous cost in terms of radio coverage. So electronic billboard and broadcast for 30 days, 65,000. It was reduced to 65,000 after some negotiation and going around. Video and photography, 30,000. It was also reduced to 30,000. I'm not very sure of the previous figure. Then promising for menu and drinks for 60 people. Like I have said, we went round. Panel yam for 200 naira, meat for 200 naira, packaging for 100 naira. That makes 500 naira for the food. Then drink 300 naira. That was how we arrived at our 800 naira. Birthday cake and wine for our outgoing president, 20,000. Medallion for merit award and the immediate past school. That's a 5,000 naira times 13 people. Gives us 65 naira, 65,000, sorry. Then live streaming on YouTube for 2 days. The president providing the laptop and the camera, we slated 30,000. Hotel accommodation for 2 nights for the secretary, the treasurer, and the social secretary. That gives us 60,000 naira. That is 10 naira per night for 2 days for the 3 of them. 12 dozens of materials, savings and cover cost, 13,600. Then students' entertainment, 15,000. Cutting of grass and environmental sanitation in the school, 30,000. All decoration, 25,000, and generator, 10,000. Giving us a total of 842,600 naira. So, if we choose to remove the life coverage of 200,000, that will reduce the cost further to 642,600 naira. So that is my submission, sir.
Thank you so much. Included in this, we've talked about the Excelsior and the money for it. Debo, can you talk to us about the Excelsior and cost of production? Secretary, Debo, I take this on.
Thank you very much, sir. You can hear me now, sir.
Yeah.
Before the approval or discussions about the Excelsior at the last meeting, I have deposited a total of 260,000 naira to the printer. Now, it became expedient for him to produce the copies to be used for October 2 and 3. And he said the minimum he must have to be able to put those things to bed is 600,000 naira. As agreed at the last meeting, is there somebody speaking, please? Hello, sir.
Hello, go ahead.
So, please, as at the last meeting, it was agreed.
Hold on. I want to mute everybody again. Then you can mute yourself because there's a lot of background noise. Hold on, let me mute everybody. Then you can now mute yourself and speak.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can mute yourself and speak now. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So, as at the last meeting, it was agreed that FESTUS will loan 300,000 naira to Debo Adevison to produce. But in view of the current development, the printer said the minimum he can have to get this thing ready on October 2 is 600,000 naira. The president gave me a loan of 200,000 naira. Engineer Yodele Alabi sent 300,000 naira to FESTUS account in this respect. We are still looking for 100,000 naira to give to the printer. So as at this morning, the 200,000 naira that Dr. FESTUS Oshoba sent, I have paid since day before yesterday to the printer. All materials, all artwork have been concluded. But we are waiting. We are still not being able to go forward with the printing. I am in Ife as we speak. The printer is at Shomolu, Lagos. But that is the situation of things with the assessor. And as discussed in the last meeting, the author remains myself. The publisher remains St. John's Old Boys Association. I hope this will put to rest every sentiment expressed in the last meeting, sir. Thank you very much. That's the summary of what we have been able to do so far.
Okay, thank you. At this stage, Honorable Kehinde Bangbeton, I want you to make comments. Yamila Yeka has already spoken, but we need to hear from the office mouth. You joined us late. From the feedback we have had is that the governor will not be available. Should we postpone or whatever? But we need to hear from the key actors before others can speak. Honorable Kehinde Bangbeton, please, you have the floor. Kehinde, you have the floor. Honorable Kwambeto, is he with us? Okay, I think he's busy. Okay, so it's not available. So now I think virtually everything that we want to do is now in the open. So it is now for us to take a decision as a body and reach a consensus on based on all the information that we have been given. So I will now mute myself, and if you want to speak, you can raise up your hand, or you can mute yourself, mention your name, and then you can speak. Who wants to speak now? Comments?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can I go on, sir?
Yes, go ahead. I thought you had concluded.
No, it is not about the census, sir. It is about the general event, sir.
Okay, continue. You have the floor.
I have been on the road in the last 11 days concerning this celebration. I have gone to see the Lord Bishop of Oshobo Diocese. I have gone to visit the Missionaries for Africa in Ibadan. Those two people represent the interest of Father Cloutier on the board of patrons, in line with our constitution. I've gone to the governor's office. I've discussed with the deputy chief of staff to the governor. I have been to the Onis Palace. I've also enlisted the support of Jonians, especially Segun Omoworare, who is an astute politician and is known in those circles. I've worked with a lot of us on the executive board. And from all, right now, as I'm speaking, I've been in Ife in the last 5 days. From everything that I have seen, sir, it is better for us to postpone this event. Number one, the governor is not available on October 3, Saturday. Number two, the governor is favorably disposed to our visiting him on October 3rd, rather than for him to come to the school. Number four, the Oni is ready to come to visit us, but he will also prefer that we do his investiture as grand patron in his palace. Number five, there is going to be a plethora of press corps attached to the Oni and the governor at the event. And whatever this VVIP says are newsworthy. Number six, I think it is good for us to look globally at what we intend to achieve, look at the cost, and then go ahead and give ourselves a breathing space. If one of the two VVIPs is not going to be present, it is not going to be an ideal location, just at the standard we have set for ourselves. In view of this, to accommodate the governor's new date, I want to suggest that, or I want to move as a motion that these events be postponed for 1 month. This event should be postponed for 1 month, and letters should be distributed, written to everybody that we have invited to play key roles. We should inform them of the current situation, number one. We should also tell them that our expectations and the participation of the government is essential if we will achieve our aims. And I know from my interaction with a lot of people, I know that they will be there. They will understand, including the KBSC, they will understand. So let us postpone the event for 1 month, and then let us do our due diligence practically. Number two is that I want to propose that we jettison the idea of the physical presence of the governor in Ife. It may not happen, not for any other reason. The outing is a visitation to one of the institutions under the governor. It is not compulsory for him to be there. Electoral campaign, state outings, and the rest may be compulsory. But ours is a demonstration of the government readiness to exhibit do otherwise. We must be seen to be responsible. Our institution must be seen to be responsible. Our association must be seen to be responsible. If we choose to insist on their physical presence in the school, it becomes a reference point. It becomes a reference point. Is this COVID-19 restraint? Why are they there? We can also say, yes, they've gone to campaign in Edo, but Edo is not an educational institution. So with this, sir, I move to accommodate the new date that may come forth from the governor. I move that we postpone the event for 1 month.
Thank you. I think the motion is premature. At the appropriate time, I will call on you to move it again. So I will not ask for anybody to second until when the time is there. So Kende is available now. So let's listen to Honorable Bangeton. You have the floor, Kende. Unmute yourself, please.
Okay.
You are muted, yes.
Okay. Mr. President, members of NEC and members of the JNWC, I want to thank Mr. President for giving me the opportunity to contribute to this debate. I recognize that Mr. President has just read what is called the alternative budget for the consideration of the House. And my response, which I earlier on advocated, is that when people, Jonians, voted for members of NEC, they entrusted their sovereignty to the members. They entrusted the leadership to the members. And they expect that following the oath all of us swore, that we will act in the best interest of the Jonians. When we came up with our budget, it was only normal in a democratic society that places value on accountability, that our members should ask for the reasons for that budget. It is also a measure of assessing the capacity and capability of the NEC to play the role of leadership. And I am convinced that the way and manner the NEC responded to the democratic rights of our members to demand for accountability was to explain set by set to them how we arrived at our conclusions. And I must say I'm very happy that following our explanations, the members responded positively. I make it as a matter of record, as today, the 1.6 million naira that we are talking about has already been achieved, which means that we are quite in the comfortable situation to even achieve 2 million. Now, any attempt, therefore, to give the impression that our members did not give us the confidence after we have explained to them will be diversionary. And I'm saying that the alternative budget is simply diversionary. We should not, if we have taken time to take decisions, we should be bold enough and sincere enough to explain to our members. If, as a leadership, each time we go out and our members ask questions, we now start scoring for hideouts and retreating, it shows that we are not bold enough to be leaders. It shows that we have not taken the decision in the true interest of the people. It shows that all the hours we have spent trying to debate and get the best solution out, it means that those hours have not worked well. It actually shows that we have indicted ourselves, that we are not strong enough and that we're not responsible enough to take decisions on their behalf. So I see alternative budget as an indictment of our leadership. And I believe basically that this should not be the case for a purposeful, progressive leadership that is set to take St. John's Old Boys Association to higher levels. So fundamentally, I think this alternative budget is diversionary, it's unnecessary, and the record of the inflow of funds has shown that we have demonstrated exemplary leadership by showing accountability and convincing our members that we actually are leading them in the right corners. Having said so, I also want to raise the issue. I will endorse all the amendments that may be made, but as I've said, using the idea of Crown FM deal is totally unnecessary. It's a wastage of inadequate resources. And I explain basically that in the quality and ambition of the Old Boys Association as an international body, you need to use international global medium to package your events. If St. John's Old Boys Association Zone Ife were to do this kind of function and to use Crown FM, it will be perfectly okay, but not for an international alumni to go and be using a local station to project this kind of activity. I believe that it is not the right medium to achieve effectively the projection and the image we want to achieve. Now, I want to also raise the issue of our relationship with the governor. We have to know that the governor is a busy man. He has requests coming from all over the states every minute. So we cannot on our own determine the date the governor will come. And therefore, attempting to postpone for a month is another leap in the dark. What we should do right now is wait for the governor to give us a date and then adjust accordingly to that date. I am not persuaded that the governor cannot visit us. Just on Wednesday, the governor visited Ife to inspect the new courthouses. So today, it was at Dagbolu to flag off the Dagbolu market. So it's already moving out. It depends on now our own clout to convince him that he will have something to gain by coming to our place. Whether he comes or not, the most important thing is that we have to wait for him to give us a date and adjust ourselves accordingly to a date he will give us. I therefore want to conclude by saying that the original budget, subject of course to some amendments, is still very valid, and that our members have already shown confidence in us by using their money to vote for that confidence. And I think we should proceed on that level rather than dissipate more energy on considering some of these unnecessary issues. I thank you very much and have that submit. Over to you, sir.
Honorable Van Beckman.
Yes, sir.
Before you leave the microphone, you didn't tell us all the efforts you made to contact the governor and how far we have gone. You just summarized it.
Yes, yes. I mean, I briefly mentioned it that when we make our own requests, the governor also has his own budget, and that's what the chief of staff made me to understand. Yes, that we wanted October 3rd, we wanted the governor to visit, but the governor also has his own requests. That several alumni are also trying to visit the governor or invite the governor to their events, and they are looking at these things with the governor to see how to package it together. But what he could tell us is that following the interventions of Gbonya Mlaika, Senior Awoshe and others, Mr. Dr. Charles Akinola said he will try and impress on the governor the options that were presented, and he will get back to us. I have personally also sent a text to His Excellency the Governor to make a case that he has something to gain by presenting himself at this event. And I believe that that may also play a role. But the way we are right now is to await the governor's response. And once he gives us a date, to adjust ourselves accordingly so that we can achieve the best of this occasion. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Kende Bangbeton.
All right, sir.
Let me just make some clarifications based on what you have said. Number one, we work together as one unit, as FESTUS. Number two, we work together as one unit as Joint National Working Committee. We also work together as one unit as ESCO members. Now, from my experience, anything that you want to do in life is subject to daily, hourly, minutely, secondly adjustment until when you do it. And for me, as an academic, I know that anytime I have an idea, I always bring it out to people. There's brainstorming. And at the end of the day, the idea is subject to attacks until we get a final product, just like refining gold, which befits everybody. In this light, I want to say that all of us are working for the same purpose. We are not working across roads. And also, we have roles assigned to people, social secretary, publicity secretary, and so on. But the truth also is that every member of the ESCO may have one influence or the other, which also may be of benefit to the body. So we need to appreciate Dr. Makinde and what he has done. Because what he has presented is not to the General House, it's to the ESCO and to the General Working Committee for us to know that some of these things, there are alternatives. It is now left for this body to look at each of these alternatives and then to choose the options that best suits us. Because if somebody makes a suggestion, the suggestion is not final, but it's just for us to be aware that anything that we want to do in life, there are options. And I think based on the principle of rational decision making, we must identify what the problem is. We must identify what possible solution is. We must identify the alternatives. We must evaluate them and find the alternative that gives us the best results at the least cost. So in that way, I want to appreciate you, and I want to appreciate Dr. Oshoba and everybody, the Secretary General. All of us have been working very well. I must say, I'm happy to have the best ESCO ever that now we can even imagine. People who are tried and tested and icons in their own rights. So, Honorable Gwanzozo, we know your pedigree, and there's no need for anybody to say anything about that. But all of us mean well for the association. So based on all the discussions we have had, it is now left for us to take final decisions. The first thing is to say that the date that we have chosen is no longer sacrosanct. We are sure that the governor wants to be with us. The date we are choosing is not convenient, and so the governor will get back to us. And when the governor gets back to us, that is when we are going to fix the date. Our National Secretary has distributed letters gone around to people. If there's going to be postponement, he must also inform those people about the changes. The other thing is that it gives us a leeway to even plan better and achieve more robust and more beautiful ceremony. So in the light of that, what we will need to do basically is to agree on all the things we are going to do, the modalities, and then look at the budget. Everything has been presented. Let us see the ones that do not have any controversy. Those ones have been passed. The budget, the areas where we have disagreements, those are the ones that we will now subject to. Those are the ones that will now subject to more discussions. So, if we do that, I think that we should be able to finish the meeting very well and arrive at very good conclusions. So let us look. Anthony, you want to say something? Okay, you have the floor, sir. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, yes.
Greetings, the whole house. I'm happy to be with you again. Now, we are trying to fix a time with governor that we can never determine. Even at the last minute, things can change. So invariably, I don't know if Honorable Bangbeton can tell us, for this Saturday that we are considering, is it not possible for us to go with our old plan, whereby we go to Oshobo, let the governor send his representation to his office, and let the bishop and all the people that we have been, all other important personalities, let them be with us, and we do this opening by what do you call it? We do it with him there.
Zoom.
We visit the way on the side. Maybe we don't need to insist that the Oni should come to the school. If we do it with the Oni too, and then it can declare open the status of our father just in his office, in his palace there. Then we can move on, because the day the governor will give us, one, it could be during the week. Two, the Oni may not be available. Three, the bishop and so on that represent Father Cloutier may not be available. Yes, sir. So there are logistic issues. So if it is possible for the governor to send representation to his own office, let's meet him in the office and move on. By the time we want to do anniversary and so on, we have more time, and then we will be able to walk around it. If we postpone for another one month, the same story may repeat itself. Thank you.
Engineer Alabi, you have the floor, please. Unmute yourself, Engineer Alabi.
Good evening, Mr. President, and good evening to everyone at this meeting. Let me start by thanking all of us. Today we are happier than when we left our last meeting. Between that time and this meeting, we have raised over ₦1 million. I want to say a big thank you to everyone. The issue about postponing the event, I don't think it's a hard decision to make, really, because we have the Oni. The Oni himself is a personality, is a big fish. Why can't we go ahead, have our event? Because the governor may never have the time, really. We can't really use his time. We can visit him anytime later. But let's go ahead. We can't go back to Oni and tell him, oh, Kabiesi, we are not ready again. When next you go back to him, it too may not be ready for us. So I think we can go ahead with our program. Let's have him withdraw our schedule and do our commissioning. And now, in respect of the budget, an ESCO will always find the job easy as long as you remain transparent. When we asked people for contributions, we had so many things at set level, even at JNWC. So many things were questioned. So the revised budget proposed by Dr. Makinde, I think is a commendable effort, in my opinion. So many things have been scaled down. These Jonians, they continue to contribute money because they have the feelings that we are prudent and we are actually using the money the way it should be used. Even with the revised budget, I still was looking at methods of even coming down on it. For instance, I was on site yesterday and I saw that the grass cutting has started. And I asked the principal, who is doing this? He told me the students. So, and that is 30,000. What stopped the students from cutting the grass for us? We don't need to spend money on that. That is one. Also, I agree that using the Crown FM, we may take it off because in our previous events, we had very good coverage. I mean, with the PRO and all that, I don't think we need anything better than that. So we can expunge that. As regards the menu, yeah, you cut your food according to your size. You can, for any event, you can dictate what you want to the caterer. 800 naira, as long as they give you what the contents are. And I mean, I don't see anything wrong in asking a caterer, this is my budget, 800 naira, but I want to know what you are going to give me. It's not that we'll eat there 3 times that day. And our members, I mean, we know what we hear, beyond these gatherings. Because they have confidence. The moment they start losing that confidence, the free flow of funds will be affected. I also, then the issue of, there are some things that are not very good on paper with the budget. For instance, accommodation, not very good on paper, really. If we have 10 members of the executive, we now want to give 3 of them hotel accommodation. On what basis? Why don't you give all of them or you give none? We are talking of sacrificial leadership here. And the moment and you can lose this thing gradually before you know it. So my submission is, let's consider having an event, do it around Oni, and get this thing done with. We can now go and visit the governor anytime he wants, or if he chooses to come and visit us, fine. If not, we'll relate with him and visit him. That's my submission. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, Olubukola, before you speak, Dr. Makinde, please. Is Dr. Makinde with us? Okay, Depa sir. Is Depa with us?
I'm with you, sir.
This food of 800 naira, has any of you eaten the food? If any of you have eaten the food, can you describe the food of 800 naira to us so that we know what have you tasted it? Did you have diarrhea? Is it NAFDAC certified?
Okay, sir.
Those who are there, please give us your experience about this 800 naira food.
Okay, sir. I was given a plate of this food, 2 wraps of pounded yam that was sufficient for me, as tall, as huge as I am. Sir?
2 wraps is it all?
Aha. I was given 2, sir. My president, sir. I was given 2 wraps of pounded yam.
Okay.
Am I with you, sir?
Yes.
I was given vegetable soup without stones.
Without mama.
I was given 2 big pieces of meat. No, kò sí òkúta nínú ẹ̀fọ́ yẹn. Ẹ̀fọ́ yẹn ò pa òkúta. There are places where you cannot eat vegetable. But this one, with the vegetable, very neat. The meat, 2 pieces of meat, well cooked, agemawo, raw. And there is a bottle of water and a bottle of Maltina in takeaway pack. That's and the woman said it's 800 naira. How much is it to Kinto Towobo? And when they gave it to me, for me, I was satisfied. Olata niwonba ko lata ju ko pakuta eren tobi ẹran méjì for èmi nìkan mo dẹ̀ jẹ mo lò you know.
So the size wrap kọ̀ọ̀kan yan yẹn.
Normal size tomato 200 naira elsewhere Anisa.
Thank you. Now, Olubukola Adesoji, you have the floor. Unmute yourself and speak.
Okay.
Olubukola Adesoji, yes.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. I want to appreciate all our fathers out there, and I'm so privileged to be part of this meeting tonight. And I want to use this medium, sir, to appreciate all your commitment so far. We thank you for your leadership. And I pray the Lord will continue to guide and direct you aright in Jesus' name. I
Amen.
just have a few things to say. Going by the last speaker, that made some contribution recently. I also want to pitch my tent along the fact that to get the governor actually may be an Herculean task, considering his serious commitment here and there. Uh, if we are able, by the grace of God, to actually get KBC, I want to believe that that should be okay for us. Of course, if you have the governor too, it's going to be a very good achievement for us. But like the last speaker said, the governor can be met any time after. And if possible, if he's not going to be available, let him also send a representative. Someone could be sent even from one of our political appointees in Ife here. We have commissioner for education and maybe some other people like that. Any of them could be on ground to actually represent the governor. I think it is going to be, it's going to go a long way, and it's going to be a very wonderful achievement for us. So I would not want to subscribe to the idea of postponing. From our own end, we have been mobilizing and sensitizing. A friend of ours actually, who is carried along as promised, coming from Katsina, to attend the event. We spoke today. He is so much elated by the report, and he has actually promised to come all the way. So if he hear that the program has been postponed, there is likelihood that he's going to be disinterested in try making himself available, and anything could actually engage you. So, sir, I want to subscribe to the idea of we going ahead, even with or with the date. Because if we postpone, we can be very sure that it may not be convenient for all these big wigs and all these big personalities that we are expecting at the event. So that's my point, sir. And talking about the catering, which our brother, Engineer Adefison, has tried to defend. I also want to say that, well, this is Ife, and we hope that such a thing can be achievable, having a plate of 800 or maybe at most 1,000 in Ife here. And we even have caterers around us too who can actually offer such wonderful service. So that's my take for now, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Well, we don't need to waste time on this meeting. And from what the feelers we are getting, it seems as if we are getting to a consensus. The consensus is that at the annual general meeting, we were given the mandate to organize this event on the 2nd and 3rd. If we postpone it, we'll be going against the mandate of the more than almost 100 people that were present at that annual general meeting. And I think that is an impeachable offense. So, since I would not like to be impeached, we are going to stick to the mandate of the annual general meeting, and we are going to hold the event on 2nd and 3rd. It is not a political event. If the governor comes, fine. If he doesn't come, fine. If he sends representative, fine. If he doesn't send, fine. Once we have the Onerisha with us, the gods of the land are with us, and then we can hold our event. So I think we have all agreed here, if there's any dissension, the person should say so, that we will hold this event as planned. We cannot be writing letters to people that as if we don't know what we are doing. We are postponing again because of governor. And the governor, all politicians, they are politicians. For me, I really don't believe in any politician. And our what we have spent our own money because the politicians refuse to do anything in the school. So we should go ahead and do the event as been mandated by the annual general meeting. Also, we have had meal of 2,500 naira during our swearing in. Let us test the one of 800 naira. At the end of the day, we will compare and see which one. I think the general consensus is that we should go for the 800 naira banded jam. We make sure there is water and soap for everybody to wash their hands. And we make sure that NAFDAC satisfy it before we eat it.
And I've already you.
Change is the only thing that is permanent in human life. And I remember from our source, I hope there will be fresh palm wine from Oba Place. Social Secretary, make sure that we have fresh palm wine also available.
Last edition.
We have agreed on this. We have also agreed that we are not going to do radio presentation. That radio presentation is not in our auditional distance, so I think we should just get on it. The money we get is okay. Once we get this YouTube, like even what we are doing now is live on YouTube, we'll just give people the YouTube streaming live, and that's it. But please, before I go on, I'm going to make a request to all of you. For this by YouTube something, the link for this one I will send to you and to all Johnnians. You click on it and look at it, and also subscribe to the channel so that when we are going to do it, it will be much easier. On YouTube, if you have more than 50 subscribers, they will actually give you your own channel. So instead of giving you a link, you just go to Dr. Oshoba channel and you can view it. And if you want to create a St. John's channel, probably that will also happen in the near future. So, based on all this that I have spoken, some people have raised up their hands to speak. I also need to also catch my breath. So, I will call on Olaolu's iPhone. Who is that? Please mention your name. Olaolu?
Omi Faris, my name.
Yes.
By the grace of God, the elected national treasurer.
Our national treasurer.
Sorry, I was. Thank you very much for the meeting. Sorry, I was in the meeting initially. My car messed up and I was trying to fix it, but I'm through now because I'm on the road. I want to support Engineer Labi on this issue of the accommodation of some officers. You remember last time when we wanted to do inauguration, when we were talking about housing one of the, accommodating one of the legal officers. I remember I said, no, it's my personal friend. I took it off from the association. That was Alade Olufemi. In this case, I don't think we should actually pay for any officer at this level until you are maybe later buoyant and begin to have that kind of luxury. I want to suggest as a motion that we delete that accommodation for officers, unless, of course, if there's any major demand, probably there's inability on any officer to actually get himself accommodated in that line. Otherwise, let's remove it because it becomes frivolity and kind of stuff. It means that we are not sensitive to what is on ground. So, sorry, that's my contribution on it. And about the food, 800 is the super one. Let's go ahead and enjoy ourselves. So on the radio jingle, let's the streaming on the ground, let's remove it and let's cut our coat according to our size, our cloth, not size, this time around, so that we can move faster. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. On the issue of this accommodation for 3 officers, I also studied law, and one of the great margins of law is that you must hear the other side. So the officers that are concerned, we have to give them chance to tell us why this item was put there before we can reach a final decision. Because according to Chief MQ of present memory, you cannot shave use my head behind my own back.
Okay, sir. Incidentally, I'm one of the officers.
Before we take our final decision.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
incidentally, I'm one of them.
You are one of them.
Yes, treasurer.
Okay, so you have removed your name.
And you remove my name from it. I can pay for myself.
Who are the other two people?
Secretary is there, and then I think the social secretary possibly.
Well, I am indifferent. I'm indifferent, but when we are doing the inauguration, I was a bit uncomfortable with the accommodation arrangement. But I discovered that evening, it provided an opportunity for coordination and to compare notes. For that purpose alone, that is it. But if everybody go to their hamlet or Akodi, go and sleep, and you don't or talk to Mr. President at a late hour, it is very, very inconvenient. That is the only, for logistic reasons, having accommodation in the same environment is useful. But in terms of costs, if we want to take it away from the association, we can say, well, maybe that is a convenient thing to make the things that the ESCO need to do to go smoothly. But it doesn't need to be, the cost doesn't need to be borne by the association. But if we are to sleep in our respective individual houses, IFE is diverse and wide. And for security reasons and other things, moving around the night may not be the best thing. So for prudency or frugality, we may want to dispense with it. But all I know is that in many organizations all over the world, when you are running official duties and it is necessary for you to be in a particular location for the logistic efficiency, that is usually done. And as long as the cost is modest. So for me, I am indifferent. But for logistic and coordination, it may be necessary for all the people that will be key to doing things to compare notes and be together and run things together. So that's the benefit of doing those accommodations. I'm not looking at the issue of cost. I'm looking at the logistic benefit of it, and which really paid off the last time. Even by the last time when we did it and we are to now converge in the evening, I was a little ill. I didn't tell anybody. I was a little ill. I had to go to our home and I couldn't sleep till daybreak because I was purging overnight. Meanwhile, I didn't even eat any meal at our event. But people are, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So the logistics is useful for us, but we may look at the cost or whether it should even bear whether the should bear the cost whatsoever. But we need the logistic togetherness. Thank you.
Okay, the third person is Debo Adebison. Debo Adebison, please speak specifically to this matter.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. I want to say unequivocally that what I personally am spending is beyond what the association will pay. I've been in Ife 5 days, 15,000 naira per night. That's 75,000 naira. That is accommodation alone. My driver is staying in the driver's lounge at 4,000 naira per day. That is 20,000. That's 95,000 naira. And if you look at it, if we choose to go on with this event, I cannot leave Ife. I sent a message to the president at 5 a.m. this morning requesting whether I should leave Ile Ife to go and do even my business. And he said I should please wait until after this meeting. If I'm putting, my car is 12,500 to fuel the tank. I must sleep in Oshobo tomorrow if we decide to go ahead with this occasion, because I must see the Lord Bishop. If he's not in the office, his secretary will take me to his house, and it will not be in the working hours, it will be in the night. So I must pay for hotel accommodation there. What we are asking for is a fraction, a tiny fraction of what we are spending. I am telling you this. Everybody who knows, Oluomo Gbenga Olabi knows, I've been in Ife in the last 11 days. I've been going around Ife, Ibadan, Oshobo, Ife, Ibadan, Oshobo, and a lot of us know this. So what we're asking for is just highly insignificant to what it cost us. I'm from Ife, yes, but I cannot go to my house for reasons that are known to me. I have a house. I have built a house in Ife, comfortable, but there are some people staying there, and I cannot just inconvenience myself too far. So, and if we must hold this event, there's nobody that will tell me that it is not appropriate for me not to be in Ife from Wednesday, because the whole burden lies on me. Now, another thing that will happen is this. We have planned this event for October 2 and 3. October 3 is not feasible. Are we going to shift the event to October 3 and the Oni will come as the VVIP? Are we going to maintain Friday, October 2 and the Oni will come as the VVIP? There are two different parameters. And there is a lot of work attached to this for me. So if the association chooses not to pay, what we are paying is insignificant to what I am spending personally. I just want us to know this. To fuel, to eat, I eat, and I'm telling you this in Ife. If I'm eating with 4 people minimum, and the 4 of them will be Jonians, because boys will always come around. My driver is there. So I'm not paying for my accommodation alone. I'm even paying for my driver, and I have to fill my tank. You know, so it depends. Whichever way we look at it, it's okay by me. It's okay.
Mr. President, sir. Mr.
Okay,
President.
thank you, Secretary. You see,
Yes,
thank you for your comments. Now, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I actually wanted to talk about the accommodation and especially for the General Secretary of the Association. The General Secretary of the Association is an errand boy. And he has just explained. Actually, that's what I actually wanted to say. It will be fueling. It said it will be needed for the past 15 days. And I'm sure out of those 15 days, definitely 5 to 10 days will be for Jordanians. He will be eating at least once a day. I know what we should have done is to give him a vote in this in the secretariat. The secretary of the General Secretary of the Association is a very powerful position. And you can hear him, he said, the president said, I should wait until after this meeting. It's going to cost him money to stay there tonight. So, and they accept his business. So, gentlemen, in as much as we want to be prudent, in as much as we want to show our people that, look, we are not spending your money unwisely, I think, again, we need to consider, you know, the position of the Honorary General Secretary of the Association. Not just him. If the president or the ESCO decide to say, 3 of you go to so and so place for so and so number of days, we must vote only for them. It is not for them to say, sorry, don't worry, I can take care of that. I've been the secretary of so many associations and I know what I've taken in the past. So I think we need to be very careful here. Otherwise, you will find out that you won't be able to send people
Thank
to
you
do
so
for
much.
you at the end. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
So, in conclusion on this matter, I would like to just say that, in conclusion, we have decided, we have discussed, and the truth is that it is not something to which you can make a pronouncement. Since you have given me the mandate as president, please allow me to take care of this issue in the sense that those of our members who require to spend money for one thing or the other, we will look at it and spend prudently on it. Those who don't need allocation of whatever, as an ESCO, we will sort that out and we will spend money wisely. So I think this issue should not be discussed further. Thank you very much. So now, he also has a question. Are we going to do the Friday and Saturday events? Maybe Deborah was not listening. I think the proposal that we have is that we should go ahead with our program, whether or not the government is coming. So on Tuesday, we'll go to the palace and investigate the ONI. And on Saturday, the ONI will come and commission the project. If the governor is not going to be there on that Saturday, he can send a representative. And if he doesn't send the representative, then the ONI will be the one to do the commissioning for us. I think this is the consensus that we have reached because the 2nd and 3rd of October, those dates are sacrosanct. Let me welcome our Chairman Board of Trustees, Chief Sunday Bolaji, to the meeting. Daddy, Eka was sir, your phone is muted. Mute. The phone content, so. On mute. No phone. Chief Bolaji. On mute phone. No, he has not unmuted himself. Okay. Who else wants to speak now? Brahma Koshobo, you are welcome. It's time to join us.
Thank you very much. I'm coming in late, I'm sorry. Go and preach in the church. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Motivator.
Okay. So now,
so
let us
I will tell you to know.
Okay, sir. Let us now have comments, summaries, and all that from all those of us who are present. Yomi, please, can you say something at this time based on what we have discussed so far? My brother, Yomi Laika. Hello, Yomi. Are you there? Yomi is doesn't know.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, your internet is not very good. Okay, Ola is talking.
Mr. President, I've already spoken.
Yomi, please. We want to hear from you. Yomi, please, go ahead.
Thank you. I hope I can connect this time around. So maybe I'll just give up. Unfortunately, my internet. I'm trying. I hope some people can hear me. I'm trying to, and that we keep pushing. At the he might just still be able to accommodate us. And as we said, if at least he can send, I told the chief of staff that if at least he can send the deputy governor, that would be
fine. All right, thank you very much.
I imagine that he might be able to send the commissioner for education. In any case, let's go ahead with the event. Has been suggested, and then
okay, thank you very much. If I may summarize, what he's trying to say is that if the date is sacrosanct to us, if the government is not coming, then we'll
thank you very much, President.
The governor or the commissioner to represent him, so that we can go ahead with our event. So I think that is the position. Please do have any summaries to give us. Yes, please unmute yourself, sir. Please unmute yourself and let's hear you. Unmute yourself, sir. You are not said anything.
Yes. Honestly, I will. Hello? Am I on?
You are very loud and clear.
Okay, fine. honestly, I agree with the structure that we want to run now. Let us encourage or solicit for the governor to send, even if the commissioner of education. Let the commissioner of education come and let us move on with our program. It's not always very good for people to be sending for an association of our level to be sending out notes and say we are not postponing. Is even too high for us. So talk less of our saying, okay, we are postponing. Let's move on with our program. The only thing now is, one, we need to now mobilize people so that we will be in this palace at a fixed time on Friday, and then on Saturday, we will be expecting a little bit of crowd to welcome him. Exactly. So we need to look at that. How we are going to mobilize everybody to be in the school. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor Adekule Eludire, Chairman of our Technical Committee. Professor Adekule Eludire.
Yes, my president, sir.
Yes, you need to talk to us about the project and everything that we have been saying, and please summarize for us.
Okay, Mr. President and the whole House. Everything is going on well with the project. As promised, by Saturday, we'll give you a report. We are finishing the final stage of the entrance now. So you should have a report by Saturday. And as Engineer Alabi has mentioned, the grass cutting has started so that you can have a befitting surrounding for the visitors. So everything is on course. Hello.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So, again, the other thing I want the House to note is that based on my coordination of this meeting, the budget has been approved. No specific amount has been approved as budget. We have had a revised budget. We have just done so many things. Some of the things we have put there, some of them will still reduce further. Maybe some others will increase. Based on the trust given to us, the ESCO will now go ahead to make sure that we implement things that the whole House have supported and as prudently as possible. And we mobilize to ensure that this event is very successful. So that would be my comment. I will now invite each and every one of us, anybody that has any other comments or contributions to make. The floor is open. Unmute yourself and speak. We want to finish in 5 minutes.
Hello,
yes, you have the floor.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I want to appreciate Father in charge of mobilization. I just want to ask how far we have gone about mobilizing the Jonians and getting the entire public informed of the program, the event that is coming up. I'm of the opinion that maybe even by now, probably something like an announcement or radio, just like we did the other time before the swearing in. But if something like that can happen, like Engineer Adevison went on Crown FM to sensitize the public, I want to ask if such an arrangement is in place, at least to get the public aware so that it won't be as if we are the only one that are aware of the event that is coming up. Just like Chief Oludipe said the other time, only anywhere he appears, it's always good when we have crowd. He always expects such, and for someone of his personality, he will be encouraged if he get there and he see crowd. So I just want to ask, sir, what arrangement is in place to mobilize others? And secondly, I want to know if you have the sample of the pamphlet or the order of event if it's already in place? Thank you, sir.
Well, the answer to that is very simple. We are following the Constitution. The General National Working Committee is like National Assembly. So this meeting of today now, we have gotten all the approvals we want. So from tomorrow, you will see a lot of noise and things happening. You know that we are capable of doing it. We have been doing it. We have a removal the and there. Everybody is there. So surely, I'm sure that, of course, not everybody will be sick because we are still in COVID-19 era. So we are not expecting everybody, but surely, Jordanians have been there, have been mobilized. So now our father, chairman of DOT, chairman of our sorority, at the education Emma prepare Emma Bawasoro. Chief Sunday Molaji.
Yeah, where are you?
Emma prepare Emma Bawasoro, ma pe ìjọba ṣe jẹ́ o.
Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Emma Balobi, go ahead in the road now. So I now like to call on Honorable Kende Bangbeton. Honorable Kende Bangbeton, please.
Mr. President, NEC and JWC, you are already taking the word from my mouth. I was going to assure my brother who just spoke that once we have a consensus, that is when we can now do the publicity strategy. Before we didn't have it, everything was still fluid. Now that we have a solid arrangement for October 2nd and October 3rd, we can now proceed with the publicity strategy. So you will see it roll out in the next few days. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, I saw our secretary, Deborah Davidson, we wanted to say something. Deborah Davidson, did you want to say something?
Yes, sir. I just want to say that Aya Besile Obesari, we have to, yes, so now that we have go ahead with the celebration, it's going to be a lot of work for everybody. And by the special of God, we will attain success. The first point of contact, the commissioner for education is from Ife. The special assistant to the governor education, Jamiu, is also from Ife. Biniyo, the deputy chief of staff, is disposed to us favorably. We have to use the contact of people within us. Kende Bangbeton is a very good, resourceful person. You know, Uncle Yomila Inka is there. Shegomo Urare, who is not on the executive but on the technical committee, is there. These are top-notch politicians that can make things happen quickly. So I can assure you that I will be in Oshobo tomorrow with letters. I'm going to get to the Commissioner for Education. I'm going to get to the Special Assistant and ensure that at least one of them is present. And we also need to know that there will be a new order of events. By tomorrow, this will be on the platforms. We will discuss and look at it individually and collectively. But there will be an event for us to follow so that we will be speaking and we will be acting in one voice, in unity. The visit to the Oni will take place, but it has to be that now those board of patrons that were supposed to go to Shubo will go to the Oni's palace, and we need to get in. We need to get their in for that. So I'm going to get in touch with Dele Momodu tonight. We have been talking since then, and he has said that I should update him on whatever happens. So I will get in touch with him and inform him that now it will be a visit to the Oni's palace. I think most of them will be comfortable with that. But definitely, I have to see the Lord Bishop of Oshobo Diocese tomorrow. And if these people are there, if they agree to come to the palace, I think the 2nd of October is fixed. The 3rd of October, they will have to come back. And that is where my little skepticism comes up. You know, the people that will go to Oni on Friday, would they be willing to come back on Saturday? So,
Therefore, I rule you out of order. I rule
Yes,
you
sir.
out of order. These are matters for the ESCO. That is why the ESCO was constituted. We are now at the General National Working Committee. The
Yes, sir.
details of what we are going to do is going to be carried out by the National Executive Council. So the members of the Executive Council are capable of implementing the directions given to us by the General National Working Committee. So we will cross the T's and dot the I's. We will strategize to ensure that the mandate are given to us, that we execute it judicially and expeditiously.
All right, sir.
All right. Daddy, Chairman BOT.
Hello.
Chairman BOT.
Hello. 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 Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I hear you.
You are hearing me?
Yes.
First of all, I have to apologize for my coming in late. It's due to some problems I'm having with some people here, but we thank God everything is settled. With the little I heard from you people and from the WhatsApp messages, I think everything is in order. By the grace of God, I'm praying that what we have in mind to do, everything we do on successfully by the grace of God. But the little I have to chip in is that really there is a scarce of money, but we thank God that of late money has started coming into the funds of the association. At least with what I'm having here with me, we are having about 1.7 million on the alert. What I will just advise the technical committee is to reduce the way we want to spend. Just let us reduce it. It's in some areas like people who are from Ife and they are coming to Ife and they said they want to stay in an hotel for 2 days. I mean, let us just consider other people who are contributing the money. It's not easy at all. I wish all of us well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Dr. Makinde, please. Thank you, sir. Dr. Makinde.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. My intention now is to draw our attention. Let me say it's a reminder. About a blown of the to come and behold our school, and yet 4 of the buildings are in the ugly state. In fact, the science building is in a very pitiable state. Like today, I visited the place. The place is waterlogged. So I think that we should be able to do some.
Hello.
That we are saving money from our budget. I believe we should to the October.
Dr. Makinde, I rule you out of order.
Yes, sir.
I rule you out of order.
Yes, sir.
The fact is this: the General National Working Committee got a request from the principal of the school. The General National Working Committee said we should send that report to the technical committee so that they can break it down into Naira and Kobo and what we can do. Dr. Makinde is a member of that committee. Professor Libere is here. He has acknowledged the receipt of that letter. So we cannot discuss the matter until the technical committee gives us a report as to what to do. That's why I wrote you out of order. We cannot the cart must put the cart before the cart and not the cart before the horse.
Thank you very much, sir.
What is the main need is the report from the technical committee, which are a member. We should mobilize those members, and when they give us a report, then we can take a decision. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Please, I just have a small question.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask the technical committee: did we plaster the wall or the fence, at least in the front? And can we put a little bit of paint or whatever that makes it look, not the entire thing, but the front one. I don't know whether we plaster it.
Engineer
And
Alabi,
I don't know whether we
answer the
can put
question.
paint.
Hold on, sir. Engineer Alabi. Engineer Alabi, please. Professor Ludire, one of them should speak now. Professor Ludire or Engineer Alabi, please.
Professor Ludire should be able to answer that question.
Yes, that's why I'm calling on him.
I think he's online.
Engineer Alabi. Professor Ludire, please. Let me give him a call. Anyway, I can speak on their behalf. I know the answer to the question, so I can answer it.
Okay.
Let me answer the question, sir, so that we don't waste our time. The fence that we did, the facade, when we are going to enter the school, is being plastered, and then panel is being put there. And then together with the school emblem and all that. So that is also a graphic work and artist work is being done there, apart from the gate. So the answer to the question is yes.
That's good.
I'm aware, so I can speak on their behalf.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now 10 minutes after 10, we now go to any other business. Any other business? In the absence of any other business, somebody should please vote for adjournment of this meeting.
Sunday Bolaji here, but go for the adjournment of the meeting.
Any seconder? Unmute yourself if you want to speak. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm
Seconding Nomi Fare.
I did it. Seconded him.
Mention your name and second.
Adesoji Olubukola, I second the motion, sir.
Okay, thank you so very much. Thank you.
Allah, you thought that it.
Can we close with prayer, sir?
Now we have the closing prayer.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
What
did we agree about closing prayer?
Okay, our closing prayer is going to be in form of St. John's closing prayer. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Then we now say, St. John, pray for us. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. St. John, pray for us.
So let us all say the closing prayer together. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
The meeting is now ended.
See you in Nife.
Adúgbẹ́lọ́ Ọlọ́run, mo ń tilẹ̀kùn lé mi, gbogbo ilé ti sùn.
Thank you, everybody. I'm very grateful.
Thank you very much.
Ìpàdé òjò sùn.
Thank you.
Ilé ti sùn.
Thank you.
President, ẹ ṣé o.
Ó dàárọ̀ o. Kọ́lọ̀ ń jí wa rè o.
Àfùjú o.
Good night.
Thank you.
Ó dàárọ̀ sà.
Thank you.
Professor,
Ó dàárọ̀.
Sir.